Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Play Modded Darkest Dungeon with me, your host Tim. And today we will be starting a new estate and trying out I think it's the Inhuman Bondage patch, which has introduced a new character class, a new hero. We have the Abomination. It's introduced some new creatures. I think we've got a new semi-boss called the Collector and a new boss that shows up in different enemy groups called the Madmen. We're going to see a few tweaks and changes to the classes, although I've overridden them already with my mod, and we'll notice a few other changes, in particular to how the delaying combat mechanic works. Before we go any further, you've heard me say modded, and I've overridden with my changes already. That is because I do not intend to play the Inhuman Bondage update with the base update. This video will be in the modded Darkest Dungeon playlist of mine, as opposed to the normal Darkest Dungeon playlist. I apologize if you really want to watch me play the normal one. I really don't want to play it. And I'm so sorry, if that's what you wanted, you're better off just waiting until January 19th or 30th or whenever the actual game comes out. Because I'm not going to play the unmodded game again until I see at least what they've done at the point when the final Darkest Dungeon is released. Now, if you're still with me, and you're like, okay, Tim, I like what you did or we're trying with your mod, I'll watch you play that again, that's great. There's a link on the left-hand side of the screen for you. You can click that if you want to skip the preamble I'm about to do, where I describe why I am not even going to attempt to play Inhuman Bondage. So, first off, let me save this because I like how this is coming out. Okay. Let's go ahead and start talking about why I'm not even going to attempt it. So first off, it's probably not a secret that I don't like how all the costs for everything in town have been upgraded. I wasn't a fan of the increased costs as people level up. I've always believed that lowering costs is better because you tempt people to spend that money, and you get to feel a little better that, hey, you're actually making some meaningful progress rather than doing a dungeon and spending all the money you got on one person's weapon upgrade, for example. So because of that, and because I'd like to actually try level 5 dungeons again, just to see if I've gotten things right, that's one of the reasons why we're playing the modded way, the modded version. Number 2, I need to test my mod, because I still want to produce it. I still like some of the ideas I have to address stress on the players, because I definitely feel that the vanilla game in the past has not addressed the stress, other than a few specific creatures that were added in. I think stress should be something you always have to worry about. However, the main reason I am going to play the modded version is the change they've done to delaying combat. So, we're going to cover that quickly, and then we'll be ready to start. In the past, the way delaying combat worked is that your character needed to do something to the enemy units, the enemy group, in that you needed to perform at least an attack action of some sort. Using marked target, that counts. Throwing a blight potion on someone, totally counts as well. You heal everyone and you stun the enemy? No good. You did not make an attack action because stuns don't count. That was the way it worked. It was acceptable. You could abuse it somewhat by taking advantage of the fact that not all the characters inflicted massive amounts of damage. However, by far and large it worked. However, the new combat mechanic is one which I saw everyone complaining about, and then I tested it, and yeah, it's pretty bad. Or, in my opinion, I do not like it at all. Let's cover it. The new mechanic is such that if a creature is still standing, if the enemy ranks consist of one creature at the beginning of its turn, and you have not killed that creature by the end of your turn, you suffer stress damage. So this means if you miss the creature, or you brought a group that just doesn't do damage, or you were shuffled out of position and were forced to rearrange your group, congratulations, your characters will believe that you are delaying combat and you are punished for it. In addition, if you do that 2 rounds in a row, enemy reinforcements now show up in the game. This has made it, in my opinion, completely undoable. Or rather, it adds an unnecessary amount of difficulty to the game. And I do not know for what reason. Players can cheat in this game if they want. I'm modding my game. I could save scum if I want. The game's gotta write its save file somewhere unless they're gonna run a server which has all our data on it. Nothing stops players from tweaking the game or playing it as they wish, or getting around the mechanics or abusing mechanics that are not absolutely 100% perfect. and you will never be able to decide in a random number generated game how unlucky the players have been, which then punishes them with additional problems. And so, because of this, and because of the grind, and because, however, I also want to work on my mods, which hopefully fixes these problems, or rather, they're not really problems per se, but attempts to do things a little differently, we'll say. I'm going to play them a modded version of Darkest Dungeon. Most of my changes have been imported from the prior run. I need to test them, of course, which is what I'm hoping to do. I will go over any changes, of course, to the classes, and Red Hook's statement on game mods will be located in the description. I will also mention, before I begin each new session, that you should read the description down below, and that this is a modded version of the game. I will also cover the differences as we encounter them throughout the game as well. Alright, so that's basically my preamble. With that said, I'm going to compress this preamble down, and I'm going to go ahead and watch the introduction again, because that's what I always do when I start a new state, and we'll test my changes together. And we'll see if the Darkest Dungeon is still tough, despite my tweaks and changes to it. Okay, everyone, so I will see you in a few seconds.
Ruin has come to our family. You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor. I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor, fattened by decadence and luxury. And yet I began to tire of conventional extravagance. Singular, unsettling tales suggested the mansion itself was a gateway to some fabulous and unnameable power. With relic and ritual, I bent every effort towards the excavation and recovery of those long-buried secrets, exhausting what remained of our family fortune on swarthy workmen and sturdy shovels. At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal of antediluvian evil. Our every step unsettled the ancient earth, but we were in a realm of death and madness. In the end, I alone fled laughing and wailing through those blackened arcades of antiquity, until consciousness failed me. You remember our venerable house, opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the Darkest Dungeon.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling, serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient, pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path, you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell. But in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
Okay, I think it's going to work this time. I have a good feeling that the bug I've spent the past 2.5 hours trying to track down has finally been fixed. Holy crap. Hello everyone. Welcome to Let's Play Modded Darkest Dungeon with me, your host Tim. And it's time to get started. Now, I have been agonizing both over a bug, which I finally think I fixed, which we'll find out when we reach town, and I've been agonizing over how to begin describing my mod for you in case you're just coming into this playlist at this point. And I think the best thing we can do is go over the changes bit by bit as we encounter them, which is to say that as we encounter creatures, I will explain the differences that I've done compared to what the base game did for that creature. When it comes to characters, we will cover all the differences for that character when we hire them, when they get added to our party. Other than that, however, I won't talk for a super long amount of time about the changes that I've done in any global manner. That said, however, we need to explain the differences that we've done from this mod to Reynold and Dismiss. So let's do that really quick. We're only going to cover their quirks, because that's the only thing I really care about showing right now for these two. So Reynold, as you can see, he no longer has Kleptomaniac when he's introduced to your group. Instead, he has Slow Draw. And Slow Draw was made slightly worse, with 4% crit being added, in addition to the -4 speed for the first round. I did this because Dismiss, I've altered known cheat, such that there's a 20% chance to steal and loot treasure curios now from him, that this now grants. So, that's why I dropped Kleptomania, because, well, if you kept both, that would be a 55% chance that you might loot and steal the treasure from a treasure curio, which is a bit much, I think. The rest of the abilities we'll cover as we start adventuring, so let's actually get out there.
Brigands have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead.
And it is actually just ahead. Hello, Brigand.
Dispatch this thug in brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival.
Okay, so the enemy Brigand Cutthroat. We'll cover him really quickly, which gives me an excuse to talk about something else as well. The Brigand Cutthroat gained a new ability in the current patch, in that his Slice and Dice now afflicts you with a bleed resistance debuff. I have removed this debuff from the Cutthroat. For that matter, in the current patch, a great many enemies, almost every single one that I can think of, gained a debuff of some sort that they put on you, or some new effect in addition to their normal attack. They didn't gain any new skills. The Cutthroat doesn't have something new that he does to apply the debuff to you. It's just part of his natural attack. I felt this was unneeded, because, well, the game's already pretty tough. I don't see what this really gained for you. So I have removed these debuffs throughout the entire game, and the creatures are now what we have seen in prior versions of the game. Let's go ahead and start smacking down the Cutthroats.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
That was a lot of money. Hello, Brigand Tent. Wow.
Leave nothing unchecked. There is much to be found in forgotten places.
This was a change I've done as well. Gold now stacks to 1,350. It's no longer what I feel is the go-to choice when it comes to... It's the safe bet when it comes to treasure, but, well, 3 gems of a emerald or onyx nature will be worth more than a stack of gold is now, rather than tying it. So I'm trying to make the players decide, make a few more harder choices as to how much of what they're keeping with them as they leave their adventure.
An ambush. Send these vermin a message. The rightful owner has returned, and their kind is no longer welcome.
Okay. After this happens, we'll cover what just occurred. So in the base game, the Brigand Fusilier, his blanket fire causes a -5 dodge debuff to everyone that it strikes. The Bloodletter, his point-blank shot, applies a speed debuff to himself. I have removed these. As I mentioned, all such debuffs in the game were removed because, again, I didn't understand why they were added. It increases the difficulty, but I feel it increases it quite substantially, especially against level 0 groups, which will now just melt to the enemies. Take that. You also note that we took some stress damage from the Fusilier's attack. All creatures in my mod have a 70% chance to add a tiny bit of stress to you when you take damage from the attack that they deal. This is all abilities from every creature. Creatures that have stress-causing abilities, however, do not have that in addition to their normal stress amounts. In the base game, the most recent patch has made it so that Blanket Fire and Rain of Whips cannot crit you. I have restored the ability for these abilities to crit you. I do not know why they removed the crit from the Fusilier, but I know that the Bloodletter, his Rain of Whips in the base game now, causes 7 stress to everyone it strikes. I do not know why they did this, unless they wanted another type of ghoul to show up for you to fight. So I have removed that, and it's as all the other damage abilities in my mod.
Death waits.
I hate you, Fusilier. I hate you so much. I want to enjoy slicing you up. That's 2 crits from you. Please don't crit me again. I'm gonna look forward to this. I'm looking forward to this. I hate you so much.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Oh, hey, a trinket. This gives me an opportunity to talk about trinkets when we get back to town as well. Alright, we're done here. Let's return to the hamlet. Please don't give me any negative quirks. Not after the first mission. Please don't give me negative quirks. Let's go next. Oh no. Oh no, please don't. No. Okay, second wind's not bad. I've altered second wind. It used to be, I think, if you were below 50%, it's now 65%. Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, that's bad. It's not the worst, but that's not good. I just have to remember that he won't crit again.
Welcome home, such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
Okay, everyone, before we go any further, let's listen to the narrator.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
I haven't altered the ancestors' memoirs in any way. I don't think that's even possible.
Most will end up here, covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion.
I'd like to make the graveyard something you could have people visit, but I can't figure out how to do that in the game, so it remains just as it is.
Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses. All will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
And I've altered the stagecoach. In fact, actually, we'll cover this right now. All of the town's buildings have been altered to be substantially cheaper to upgrade. Sometime in the Corpse and Hound patch cycle, they greatly increased the heirloom cost for all of these buildings. I have reduced the costs back to the pre-Corpse and Hound update levels, and I think I even altered the blacksmith to require even less deeds than that. I didn't like that. Well, okay, we'll cover why I did things in a little bit. First, I'm going to quickly save the game and check out how the recording is coming, and I'll be right back. Okay, it sounds pretty good. All right, let's get right back to it. So I should actually stick to my original plan, which is to talk about each place individually. So let's go to the stagecoach first. So we've just seen the stagecoach. We heard the narrator. I lowered the cost of these upgrades. So, for example, the stagecoach network requires 4 deeds and 4 crests, which I think it still does in the current game.
Word is traveling. Ambition is stirring in distant cities.
We can use this.
The second upgrade normally required 7 deeds and 7 crests. I have reduced it back to 6 deeds and 6 crests. Overall, for the stagecoach, the required amount of heirlooms has been reduced significantly from the current game. What I have done, however, is I've altered the amount of heirlooms you find in dungeons, such that all heirloom levels resemble the rank 1 levels. In level 3 dungeons, you'll still only find 2 deeds, not 3 deeds, whenever you find any deeds in that dungeon. Crests are always 4, instead of 4, 8, and 12. I felt that the problem was not that the players... Well, I agreed with what Red Hook had done. I felt that the players were getting too many of them. But instead of requiring the players to get more of them, I just decreased the number of them that they acquire. You also tend to throw away a lot of stuff when you're venturing in the dungeon at high level. Like, you'll find 12 crests in one battle and be like, I don't need another stack of crests this dungeon. In this way, you have to keep accumulating them as you go through. I'm hoping that it balances itself out. The prior time I played through the game, it felt about right.
What better laboratory than the blood-soaked battlefield? A sister of battle, pious and unrelenting.
Okay, next, let's go over the character classes that we have with us. There will be a link, by the way, which might have just faded. Actually, leave it up. I'll leave it up for a little bit longer than the normal minute and a half I leave it up for, to let you skip all this and get right to the action in case you don't want to hear me ramble about the changes between what I've done to these characters and the base game. But we're going to cover them right now anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. So Reynold here is a Crusader. Crusader's base stats have been altered in that he has less max hit points and he gains less hit points per level, but he has a flat 10% protection now. All characters that are wearing armor lost hit points but gained protection. I wasn't a fan that to make it seem like the heroes have armor, they have a lot of hit points. I actually want them to have just flat protection, so I did that. So the Crusader, Man-at-Arms, and Leper, and I think the Arbalist are all like wearing heavy armor, so all of them gain protection. The Bounty Hunter and the Vestal are wearing medium armor, and they've gained 5% protection. We'll see that when we get to the Vestal. For his combat skills, the only skill that I've altered is Bulwark of Faith. It has been my experience that the original Bulwark of Faith, which is the Crusader marks himself and gives himself a 25% protection bonus, is not helpful. The enemies still ignore the mark, or they simply, they ignore the mark and they go after whomever they randomly want, or they go after whoever has the least maximum hit points. Quite often, your backline if they can. They always try to avoid hitting the front rank, especially people who have protection buffs. So, I like the idea of the Man-at-Arms guard. I thought more people should have a guard ability, so the Crusader now picks one up. The difference is that his actually heals a tiny bit of stress while he's protecting somebody, but it also grants him less protection, 10% prot instead of 25. However, keep in mind the Crusader still has his 10% protection now, as it's a natural protection level. This means that he has 20% prot when he uses this ability. So it'll still feel about right, I think. For his camping skills, I've lowered Zealous Vigil's stress reduction by 10 points, so now it heals 15 instead of 25. I left the Afflicted one the same, still grants him 10 accuracy. Zealous Speech was altered to be 4-time units instead of 5, and instead of healing the party 10% damage, it now gives everyone a 10% stress resistance buff. I like the idea of the Crusader being able to rouse everyone to feel better by giving speeches. We've seen that with Inspiring Cry, and he had all these Stand Tall, Unshakable Leader, and what have you, which were giving stress resist buffs. So now you can choose between everyone gaining a 20% stress resistance, or 10% stress resistance and lowering stress immediately, depending upon your needs in camp. Our Highwayman here. His combat skills have not been altered in any way. They are exactly the same as they are in the game. In fact, I've been tempted to increase Grape Shot's damage to change the damage mod to negative 50% instead of negative 67. I think I'll do that before the next time we play. I don't believe any of his other abilities have been altered in any way. His camping skills were altered slightly. Well, or maybe significantly. I altered one of his abilities, Gallows Humor. Gallows Humor now is 3 time units cost, as opposed to, I think it was 5 before. It might have been 4. And instead of it saying a 75% chance to reduce your stress by 20 points, and a 25% chance to increase it by 20, it now grants the Highwayman a 15% stress resistance buff, and everyone else in the group has a 50% chance to reduce their stress by 10 or 5, all for 3 points. If you want to look at it this way, it's 15 stress for everyone in the party, at least guaranteed, plus a stress resistance buff for 3 points. It's about right, I felt, compared to what Encourage did for 2 points. So I think this will even out. I have not been a fan of any ability which has a significant, what I consider a significant penalty to it. In this case, Gallows Humor. Everyone could fail their stress, could fail the check, and all 3 people could increase their stress by 25 for 4 time unit cost. I don't like this. I feel camping should be more or less a place where you can recover your stress from. So that's why I did the change. The Plague Doctor has seen quite a bit of changes. Let's see what she has. She has Robust. That makes sense on the Plague Doctor. Warren's Explorer. Love Interest. Oh, which I need to alter because this does a little bit more for her. Or it's supposed to be. It's supposed to do a little more to her, but I don't see it working, so I'll have to change the actual quirk. And Bad Gambler, which, as you can see, has been altered so that it's a 10% chance to loot and steal treasure curios. That gives my group a 30% chance. Oof, that's pretty bad. Let's stop right now and cover quirks really quick. All quirks were altered in that a lot of positive quirks saw some buffs here and there to make them worth considering. Generally, resistance buffs that were 10% were increased to 15%. On that same note, negative quirks were also made worse, where abilities you didn't care about, like Bad Gambler, okay, you just didn't send your person in to gamble. Well, now there's another reason you might want to consider purging this quirk rather than letting it lock. It's a chance where this person will always be looting stuff on you, so that is why I've changed stuff to make it so that you might consider positive quirks that you didn't before, and you might consider removing negative quirks that you might have not cared about earlier. For her combat skills, Noxious Blast and Plague Grenade increase their damage by 1 point every level, as opposed to every other level. Now, the base game, in the current patch, has also increased the damage that these do. Noxious Blast and Plague Grenade also start out at 4 points, and I think they end at level 5 at doing 7 points. That is 1 point less than my rank 5s do. In fact, I have changed my rank 5 so that they do 7 points, but they apply a protection debuff. I like the idea of this like being acidic stuff eating through the armor of the enemy. What else has changed for her? I think the only other thing I altered was Disorienting Blast. In the base game, Disorienting Blast clears all corpses, it does no damage, and it has a chance to shuffle the opponent that you hit with it. I've always felt this has been the most useless ability in the entire game. It does no damage. The enemy can resist the effect. You can miss the enemy with it, obviously, and the enemy may be shuffled into a position that was awkward or you didn't care about. I used it maybe twice in all my hours of playing this game. I like the idea of the Plague Doctor, though, being able to be more of a, shall we say, proactive healer. So an ability that reduces the damage that a creature does and lowers its speed will make it so that you take less damage from them, and you might be able to finish it off a little faster, in addition to keeping her with all her gas and her grenades and what have you. I actually need to change this a little bit, because I want to decrease the damage mod down to negative 65%, rather than keeping it up this much. I want to do a little more damage when you use it. For camping skills, Self-Medicate now is a guaranteed disease removal. I'm actually thinking of changing this to, instead of being a self-use ability, to grant a huge amount of resistances to disease, blights, and bleeds to a target, like it used to do. But right now it's still sitting at this. Leeches now has increased its disease removal percentage up to 65%. That's up from 33. And it only costs 2 points instead of 3 points for it. And Experimental Vapors was changed completely. It used to be a 75% chance, I think, to heal 50% damage taken on one person. I think it cost 4 points for that attempt. I only used it once, and it failed. And at that point, I realized I really didn't like this at all. So I like the idea that she would be experimenting with her concoctions, and if someone's willing to take the risk to try something experimental, they would gain a huge drug buff at crit dodge damage, at the penalty of taking stress damage, 20 in this case for these mental vapors. Now I'm thinking of changing this again, of lowering the time unit cost down to 3, but making this also have a stress resistance debuff on the person, in which they'll take 10% more stress damage. In fact, I think I like that so much I'll do that after this next quest. Those are the only changes done to our Plague Doctor. Oh. This is not going to go over well for you, Sacraville. Why did you come here? This is a not... Oh, and Deathblow resist. Weak grip on life. Alright, this is... Why are you here again? I hope you like eating a lot of wine to the face. Go Venture and Deadly. Oh, that's interesting. So, let's go over the changes really quick. So, Deadly was altered. It used to be 1% crit. I actually added a +2 accuracy to it to make it just a tiny bit better. There's another ability that adds 3% to crit. So this one can't really compete with that, which is why this was altered to be a tiny bit better. For her combat ability, so she also gained 5% prot because she's wearing medium armor. I don't think I altered her hit points at all. Her Mace Bash has gained a protection debuff. There wasn't enough protection debuffs in the game, especially considering the amount of creatures that have protection in the game, and especially in the vanilla game, the sheer amount of creatures that have a huge amount of protection in it. Wow, it's crazy. Fungal Shamblers with 50% protection at level 3? That's crazy! And the only way to get rid of it is to use a Houndsmaster. So I've added a lot of abilities that actually take away protection from the enemies. Mace Bash is one such ability. She can also use Divine Grace in the second spot. This allows you to use her as a kind of combat person if you want. I mean, she now has Mace Bash, Divine Grace, Divine Comfort, Illumination, and Hand of Light. So you can actually field her on the front rank now, if you so wish. This way she can actually be a Sister of Battle, rather than a Sister of Healing. For her camping skills, Sanctuary is now 3 points, down from 5, and in case you were curious, it should say eliminates the chance of a nighttime ambush. It's 100%, it always is 100%. But I still thought it was too expensive at 5 points, so I lowered it to 3. That's 1/4 of your camping ability used to prevent an ambush. Prey now gives her a 5% crit bonus until she camps again, and your companions, if they're religious, see more stressed recovery than if they're not. I like the ability that she'd be praying and her prayers would be answered. And if you're religious, you might be able to see that, and if you weren't, you wouldn't care. I also reduced the cost. I think it was 4 points, now it's only 3. Chant is now only 1 point, and I need to change it because it's a little too good. It's going to be so that if you're religious, you gain a stress resistance buff, which is what this currently does, and no matter what you are, you'll reduce your stress by 8. I think that's what this is going to be left as. And it's only 1 time unit cost as well. Bless wasn't altered at all, and those are the changes that we've done to our characters here. Okay, I like how this is coming out. Let's go ahead and quickly save this off. Okay, that's good. And so, is there anything else we want to talk about here? I don't think so. I think it's in our best interest to leap into the first dungeon and see how well or bad that goes. Make sure I've definitely upgraded the stagecoach, and I have, so if I have to throw everyone away, we will. Oh, and finally, if you would like to have yourself appear as one of the characters in this playlist, let me know what you would like to be. Also, let me know if you have a skill set preference, and I will make sure your character has those skills and uses them in the game, both camping and not camping, as soon as I'm able to do so, which is to say, if I can find the funds to make that happen quicker, I will do so. I also will not name people until after their first successful run at a dungeon when they're level 1. This is because I might end up throwing away Dismas if he leaves this dungeon and he picks up another negative quirk and he's crazy. Yeah, I will throw him out. So just let me know. I know that we have Darkness 42 as a Abomination, we have Griborovic as a Grave Robber, and we have Crusandra as a Crusader. So the very first ones of those classes I decide I'm keeping, you guys, those names will be assigned to those characters. Oh! Trinkets! Right, we have a trinket. Let's assign that trinket. Trinkets. I've altered trinkets, such that they are now worth significantly less than they used to be. Gonna have to check the file really quick. That should be only like 625, not 750. In any case, they used to be like a common curio was 7,500 bucks. Its cost has been lowered to 4,000. But this also means that they sell for significantly less money than they used to. So you will struggle. You can no longer just pick up a bunch of trinkets. I called them heirlooms or something. You can no longer pick up a bunch of trinkets and just sell them for a lot of cash. You can still sell them for cash, but on the whole, they'll be worth less cash than walking out with a stack of money will. So it's no longer a guaranteed like 1,500 bucks when you leave a dungeon. Okay, let's go ahead and embark. We'll cover some of this again when we start playing.
A mecca of madness and morbidity. Your work begins.
Unholy abominations, turning the light against itself. Meet them in battle and learn how they fight. Okay, so let's do our first dungeon together. So I think, you do have Mace Bash. But I think it's safer for you to be in the final spot this time, so you will still stay here. But then again, where does the enemy want to throw the wine? Usually it's the rear rank. Yeah, I will leave you here right now. Red Hook. Okay. Let's go ahead and embark. Provision.
The cost of preparedness, measured now in gold, later in blood.
Okay, I've heard about this change. The provisioning step is now slightly different. You can see that all of the provisions now have a maximum number that you're allowed to purchase before you head off into the Great Void. This is because apparently people were buying like an entire stack's worth of food and going into a dungeon. I actually think that's a pretty damn good idea. That's a lot of healing in the high-ranked dungeons. You do a battle, everyone eats 4 food at the end of it. That's a pretty good idea. But they have changed it so you can no longer do that. I don't know if I'm a fan, but I'm willing to test it out. So we're gonna play with it. The levels are altered depending upon the length of the dungeon. This is a short dungeon, so this is the rank of the equipment. This is the quantity. This is the quantity we're allowed to bring with us, maximum of each of these items, in a short level dungeon. Let me start out with 8 food. We'll take 6 torches. I think 1 shovel. I'm not going to take any anti-venom or bandages. We have a plague doctor. No, you know what? No, I should take 2 bandages with us. Alright, this looks good. Let's take this and let's get going. We will cover all the changes to all the creatures we meet as we begin encountering them. Know that the level 1 courtiers, for example, their wine attack can no longer crit in the current patch. I have restored its ability to crit. I've also changed a few other things, but of course...
The fiends must be driven back. And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line?
Oh, that's bad. We'll cover the changes as we meet them. Oh, please work. No, you have the movement resistance buff. That's not going to work.
Death by inches.
I needed to get him up in order to hit the enemy. I'd like to stop the AoE attack if I can. Nope, couldn't, but he'll die next round, so I don't have to attack him again. Try to make it so that the blight will kill him, and now it will.
The slow death. Unforeseen.
I'm gonna heal.
Unforgiving.
A tiny bit of stress. Oh, I like that. Let's heal a tiny bit of damage. Ooh, nice. Good crit. That'll reduce the stress even more.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Oh, someone's going crazy in this mission. The 2 stress versus 3 stress that we're seeing, it just now occurs to me. My level 0s are going to take 3 stress from that ability, but my level 1s are actually going to take only 2 from the stress on hit damage I added. Oh. Oh, it could be a map, and I could really use a map. Let's give it a shot. Oh, such a bad idea. Oh, I hate you. 19 stress. Let's not linger. I agree. Use a torch. Let's head in. Use a torch. All right. Oh, you're kidding me! Oh, God! All right. All right, let's keep people where they are. Currently, we'll use a blight, and then we'll go over the changes at once I'm done attacking. Okay. The Rabble, there's nothing special about them. I think I increased their hit points by 2, so they're a little more resilient than they used to be. The Courtier, I changed his goblet to, instead of doing stress 2, to do stress 1. Now, in the current patch that just came out, Red Hook did, it looks like the same exact thing, lowering the stress damage that they do with their goblet toss. I have also lowered the damage the goblet toss does, though, by half, so it only inflicts 1 through 2 points of damage instead of 2 through 4. The Brawler gained 5% pride, because he guards himself by holding up those claws to protect himself, and it's actually made him a little bit more resilient, so I kind of like that. Oh, the Acolyte, the Witch. Her stress also has been reduced to a stress 1 effect instead of stress 2, so it does 10 stress per use, not 15. Red Hook also changed it so that she does the same thing in the current patch. When she uses her Tendril abilities, I have added 6 stress to that attack whenever she hits someone with it. So it now causes a lot of stress with all of her skills. We're off to a good start. Oh, God! No, this is... Oh, okay, well that's good at least. I think we'll move you up a rank. You're going crazy back there, Dismiss. I'm so sorry. And he's dead next round. So I don't have to worry about him anymore. Let's see if we can kill this one. Good. I'm going to actually protect. Since he'll die, he'll evaporate when he activates. Oh wow, they're just going to focus on Dismiss. Alright, we'll probably be scrapping him at the end of this.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
I want him to die when he activates, so instead I'm going to use Divine... let's use Illumination. Lower his dodge a little bit. Oh, Dismiss, you are not good at this today. Let's try to use a Judgment.
Precision and power.
That was awesome. You shall suffer as I have. You
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken. Press this advantage.
Wow, the level
Give
1s
them
are
no
just
quarter.
failing. You guys are terrible at this. And I can't even hit him from where I am. I take that, corpse. This is really awkward.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Wow. That was pretty bad. Alright, let's get everyone back into position. 2 ambushes, and that was at 100%, or at a super high light level, too. My goodness, that's terrible. Alright, let's keep going. We have a treasure chest. Let's use our key here. Crests and busts. Really could use money instead. So my thoughts on the skeletons and the cultists were that the stress causers were doing a little too much stress initially.
In
to rank
Radiance,
zeros,
may we find victory.
if they focused fired on them. And it's been my experience that AI will always focus on someone. Whoever has the most stress causers will focus on that person to make sure that they go crazy.
Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
Oh, a heads up, by the way, that I won't decide to name someone until after they've completed their rank 1 mission. Because, oh, I think I said that already. Because if I need to throw them out, I want the option to do so. I'm actually going to heal. A tiny bit. A tiny bit more. You know, this gives me an opportunity to talk about the current combat. Oh, the current delaying combat mechanic. If I had left one of these guys alive. Oh, wow, that sucks. If one of these guys was left alive at the end of a combat, and I failed to kill it, like if I didn't go all out to kill him, then what would happen is that we would suffer the stress penalty. Oh, that does, like, no damage now. This group is doing terrible. Come on, guys, you gotta get with it here. They're normal skeletons. We should be able to kill normal skeletons. This is two rounds against 2 of them.
Surges as the enemy crumbles.
Oh, we're doing it anyway. Okay. It's better than a trap, at least. I need my light levels high for this, because I don't want to take too much stress damage, if I can help it. We got combat room coming up. Dismiss. Dismissed. Or disarmed. Disarmed. Sorry. Wow. A lot of money in that bag. Oh, all the money was in that bag. That bag really looked like there was something in it. I'm just saying. It looked like there was something in it. Alright, let's do this fight. Hopefully we won't be surprised. Please don't surprise us. Oh, this again! Okay, so let's see if we can take down him with dots. Good. He'll die next round. Oof! 5 damage from that. Oh, dismiss. You're going to be dismissed. I'm sorry. It's going to happen. I don't know what to go after. Put the final hit on this guy.
Falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Nice move there. Let's try stunning the back rank. Drag at least one of their stress dealers to the front where he can't use his stress-causing ability. And let's move up a rank so we can start killing them again. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I added a small bleed effect to that to make it a little more dangerous for him. He's no longer quite the pushover he used to be at the front rank. There's that damage, he's going to take that bleed. Good resist on your part. I want her dead. I still about to be poked with a knife. And then suffer more stress damage.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
So far, it feels about right. Feels good. We got plenty of stress. We've gotten beat up. We're still doing it. We still can make it. We're taking hits. Feels good for the first dungeon. Wow. Can I stun him? Yes. You're being fired, Dismiss. This is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Yeah, I don't like it either, but you keep missing, so I don't really know what I'm supposed to do about it. I drag that guy forward. I was hoping it... fine. Let's heal. The damage my group's taking, keep them up. Oof, 16 stress. Oh, God! Okay, now he'll die when he activates next round. I'm fine with this. It gives me an opportunity to heal. Tiny bit of stress. I'll take the buff.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
Definitely the latter.
Machinations spring to life with a singular purpose.
Oh, no! Definitely a trick of the light. I have changed the total amount of jades into trains you can carry on your person now. You can carry 6 of them, giving you, I think, or is it, did I increase it to 8? I think it was 6. So you can now get 1,500 bucks from jades. It also means that a stack of them will be worth more than a stack of money, given my recent change to that. So maybe it's worth keeping these now. Wow, am I gonna have to go down all the hallways? Oh no.
Mind that such missteps are the exception, and not the rule.
No, narrator, you were lying. Those missteps are the rule. They're always in almost every single... I'm out of torches. They're in almost in every single hallway that we haven't explored. Another just pure fight room. Oh god. Okay. So, the Bone Defender, I don't think he's altered from the base game. He might have less protection, but I can't remember. The Soldier, I don't think was also... I think I gave him 10% prot, or maybe he had it already. And the Arbalest picked up 10% protection. He's wearing armor. He should definitely have something there. Let's see if we can kill this guy first. I like him to die to poison, so we're actually going to use Elimination. Well, we didn't get the debuff on him.
Unnerved, unbalanced.
Oh no, we're about to get a fail cascade. Oh, I haven't seen one of these in a long time. Oh no! We didn't. None of the rest of us gained any additional stress. Okay. By stunning him. No. Man, this group is terrible. Oh my god!
For the slightest lapse in concentration.
Wow, this is terrible. We might have to fire everyone. Everyone's gonna have to go. Man. there's one more room to this mission, I think we probably lost. This is terrible. You let yourself be hit. Why would that be? This can't. They will sell us to slavers if they defeat us. There's skeletons. How is that even possible? That's not possible. Stop that.
This expedition at least promises success.
Oh, we're done. All right, well, we're gonna keep going anyway. I'd like to see if there's oh, and now we get the scout. All right, well, we're definitely gonna take a look at those 2 items. Let's go back up north and see what they are. Wow, we gain a lot of stress. That's even with my changes. To be fair, I mean, the changes I've done are not supposed to necessarily make the game easier. They're actually supposed to make it so that you do leave with more stress. And I'm seeing that happen here. I don't think I could be happier, actually. One of our characters did... Oh, 2 torches. Right, let's let the light run out, then.
Secrets and wonders can be found in the most tenebrous corners of this place.
For a free jade.
More moans return to rest. Devils remanded to their abyss.
Okay, the quirks we get will determine if I'm keeping these people or not. Dismiss. Hard-skinned. Okay, we're keeping you then. Sackerville. Early risers, nice. Okay, maybe we will be keeping all of you. It's a lot of stress to get down, though.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Okay, so let's listen to... Actually, we're going to stop here, and we'll pick up in the next video. So I will see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this was hopefully you guys like this. We left the first dungeon pretty badly beat up and stressed out. I think it's working. Again, I think it's working. So we'll find out more when I see you. So see you in the next video, maybe. And take care.